So now that we're happy that the bottle is animating on, I'm going to add some text. If we come up here to the top tool panel, you can see that you've got the T tool, which you'll be familiar with in Premiere, Adobe, all the Adobe packages. I'm going to click on the T tool and I'm going to type the word water. Just with any other Adobe package, you can highlight the text. And we've already got the character palette set up here. Remember that you'd find that in Window if it wasn't already on the side panel. So I'm going to change this to Helvetica Bold, and I'm going to click and slide to make that a lot bigger. Using the black arrow here, we can reposition that. And I think I'll double click and go in and change the colour as well. I'm going to use the pipette tool to pick up a dark blue colour. Okay, now you can see that it's automatically added that as another layer on top of my other assets. And if I drill down here, I want to animate that on after the bottle has appeared. And I think what I'm going to do is wait for the bottle to appear, and then I want the water to appear on from, probably using opacity, from 0% to 100%. So what I need to do is drill down here into my transform menu, and I'm going to work with the opacity. So I'm going to switch on the opacity stopwatch, and at the first keyframe here I want the opacity to be 0. So I'm going to change that to 0. I'm going to move the playhead on in time, and I'm going to change that back up to 100%. So within that space of time it's gone from 0 to 100%. Now if I play that through, I want to check my timings. I'm quite happy with that. You can always click and highlight a selection of keyframes and move them on in time. So if I wanted the bottle to be there for quite a while before the word water came on, I could do that. Okay, but I'm kind of happy for it to happen as soon as the bottle has appeared. Okay, so if I play back now, you can see that the bottle comes on and the word water appears. Now the next effect that I'm going to look at adding onto that is what's called a light sweep. So this is where we come back over to our effects and presets, which is hidden in this area. So if I click on here, I should be able to access it. And I'm going to look at a light sweep. So if I type in light sweep, you'll see that it comes up here with an effect called CC light sweep. And I'm going to drag that onto my text. In adding that effect, you can see now that it's added it down here in the list under the water layer. And you can see it listed there, CC light sweep. The other thing that you'll notice if you come up to the playback screen is that there's this crosshatch icon just here. Now you'll notice if I drag this across that you can see the light sweep across the word. In Effect Controls, there's an area here where you can select the direction of the light sweep. So you can see it there on the playback menu swinging round, and I want it in this kind of direction. So as it sweeps across, it's going to go across all the letters like that. So I'm going to move this icon to the start position before I switch on the keyframes. And the keyframe you need to switch on for this is the one that says center. So I'm going to pop that on, which gives me my first keyframe. I'm going to move the playhead on in time, and then move across the crosshatch icon. And you can see down here that I've got these two keyframes. Now if I play it back, you can see that I've got my light sweep. Again, remember, I can change these keyframes by drilling down into them and moving them across. So if I want the sweep to be slower, I move them further apart. If I want it to be quite quick, I move them nearer to each other. Okay, so I'm going to play that back and see what I've got at the minute. So my bottle comes on, water fades up, and then the light sweeps across. Before we go any further, I want to show you a couple of things that will help you navigate around the work that you're doing. One of that is what's called the Uber key. So if I were to close down my triangle so that I've just got the top level of all my assets, if I'm to press the U key on the keyboard whilst clicking on an asset, it will display any keyframes that are hidden down in all the menus. So instead of having to drill down like this and to find them, you can just press the Uber key. So that's the U key, and it will highlight and show you where all your keyframes are. The other thing that is quite handy is the quick keys that let you access any of the transform functions. So, for example, if you know that you want to add a keyframe to position, then you can hit the P key and it will give you the position transform function for that layer. Likewise, with scale, you press S, and I'll put a list up on the screen here of the different quick keys. Okay, so I'm going to add a new text layer. I'm going to click down here and I'm going to style that up over in the character palette. Remember, the black arrow key allows you to move and what I want to do is think about my timings now. So at the minute, this new text that I've added is there before anything else. So I need to make sure that I can animate it on after the word water appears. So if I scrub across and get to the bit where water is fully on the screen, I can then come here and change the timing. So I can move this across so that is essential now appears after the word water. So it's a little bit abrupt in the fact that it just pops up. So instead of having it just popping up on the screen, I'm going to add another effect to it. So I'm going to come across to effects and presets, and in here I'm going to look for a fade up. So I'm going to type in the word fade, and if I scroll down here you can see that these fades are listed by behaviours, and here we've got the section about text. So I'm going to look for a fade up, and these fade up by character, fade up by line, or fade up by words. So I'm going to add on this preset here that says fade up by character, and I'm going to drop that onto my layer, and if I scroll across you'll see that it literally kind of fades on by each individual character. Now as I scrub across you'll notice that the light streak is timed at the same time. I want to fade this up so that is essential comes on after the light streak is finished. So I'm going to scrub across, the light finishes, so this I actually want to appear from here onwards. So if I play back, okay, I can just see my background needs extending as well. So I'm happy that I've got all the elements there. The timings need a little bit of movement. So what I would do is hit the Uber key and start messing about here and refining some of these timings, making finer adjustments. And you can do that by simply clicking and sliding your sets of keyframes and keep playing back until you're happy with the timings.